a guy to dump it off to, and they almost had an instant chemistry like right away. So it was. How do you guys feel? And we'll start with you, Twin. How do you feel about that? Do you think Jimmy that really helped Jimmy and it kind of unlocked him?
Yeah, I mean, I think also this trade forced him to do something. And actually it forced Jimmy to go back to his original roots.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, when you look at the New England Patriots, one thing they did do very well was they used their backs, in the passing game, especially in their short game. They really just made like little short tosses in the backfield, and
James White,
the running back would get the ball, and whether it's Kevin Faulk, whether it was Dion, it's a plethora of guys that was back there who did the same job where they'll have 10 receptions for 85 yards, and they just pretty much kept the chains moving, and it kept Tom Brady in the rhythm. And a lot of times on offense, you want to make sure you get your guys, your offensive line, to have some type of confidence. And I believe that what this previous game did for Jimmy Garoppolo, I think it took him back to like, oh yeah, let me use this guy. Let me make sure I execute the play, as far as my reads first and foremost, but just be comfortable knowing I got somebody in the back that I can toss the ball to. And I think last time me and you, Peter, talked, that was one of my main issues with Kyle. Was like, dog, how long you gonna be in this offense and not utilize the backfield? We've seen every team that was successful in the playoffs, especially when you look at, unfortunately, our Super Bowl, the Chiefs used the backfield. Even the previous Super Bowl that we just saw, you saw Stafford use the running backs out the backfield to continue to keep the chains moving. Yeah. And they're just being smart. You're being patient, and you allow them, because most of the times when you got these great route runners running these routes from 10 to 15 yards on out, the underneath is open. So if you got somebody with any type of catching ability to catch that ball, got a little wiggle to him, I think it allowed Jimmy G to be like, okay, cool. And that's why I think his completion was so high as well, where whenever he did see something, he saw it and trusted, because the defense had to be extremely precise on their reads in what it was that they were trying to do, because they couldn't really disguise no more, because you have to cover every blade 53 across and 100 all the way down. And so I think that kind of opened it up a little bit for him to utilize his full gamut of options and be more of a proficient passer and really help execute our offense in a different type of way that we haven't seen since Kyle has been the head coach there in the OC.
Yeah, before Jamal answers that question, I want to answer Niner Sickness, and hey, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Like, you guys are getting real active in the chat. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all the questions, but I did want to mention this one. And McCaffrey, I know I saw Akash tweet out, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, that apparently once you play in a certain number, you can't change your number until next season. So yeah, he's stuck with 23 until at least next season. But go ahead, Jamal. Why don't you answer that question too?
Yeah, so it's a tough question to answer, because I don't know if I'll say it straight out. I didn't see anything new from Jimmy Garoppolo that I've never seen from him before, right? I just saw him not make any true boneheaded mistakes. Now, he had a play that could have been intercepted. Obviously, we talked about the Jalen Ramsey play. At the same time, I give Jalen Ramsey some credit there too, because he is an athletic freak, and he made a good play on the ball. And Jimmy threw that one late. And I actually tweeted this out too, live time during that game. I said, this is not a good start from Jimmy Garoppolo. That was after the first drive. I saw two specific plays. I'm trying to remember which ones they were off the top of my head. That play, that one that Ramsey almost got, was late. I think he was trying to hit Kittle late, but it was covered. And then there was the one to Ray, the other one to Ray deep down the field, just slightly underthrown. Obviously, it was underthrown a little bit, but it was also late because he was open much earlier than that. So those two plays were plays that, in my opinion, for any quarterback, this is not just Jimmy Garoppolo, any quarterback, I would have said, yeah, you got to hit those. You got to hit dude in rhythm on time, because the play was there. You just saw it late, and then you attempted it. And that's where you almost got in trouble, because Jalen Ramsey did almost make an awesome play and get an interception. Then on the first one to Ray, you just missed it. I don't know if he just didn't trust that he'd get open, or maybe even hesitated for a second before he wanted to actually deliver that ball. But those are two plays for any quarterback, I would say you got to make those. Outside of those two plays, though, I don't know if I saw anything insane from Jimmy Garoppolo that I would say he couldn't repeat, because like Twin just very so eloquently said, and I thought it was awesome. I agree with him. Yeah. You have a guy like Christian McCaffrey who we said earlier he can play in a similar realm or similar way to a Deebo Samuel. And it's players like those two guys who have the ability to catch passes in the slot out wide, line up in the backfield, which both of them can do. It's been that type of specific player that's consistently given the Rams problems. We've seen that. It has been, and I mean, up until this week, we've been able to say Deebo Samuel, the Ram killer, the Ram slayer. They just have no answer for him. Can we say the same thing about Christian McCaffrey now? You bet your bottom dollar we can, right? A 34-yard pass touchdown, a reception TD, and a rushing TD. And they had no answer for the guy. Now, I also agree with you guys that there could have been, maybe we didn't need to give him 18 carries. I would have liked a little bit more balance. I'd like to have seen Jeff Wilson or someone else get a couple more carries there. I'm not mad at it or anything like that because I know we're also trying to acclimate him within the scheme, within the offense. And before the game, like we were told that he had no restrictions, right? He understands the playbook. He's very happy to be here. So I'm not mad at it by any means. But as you guys were kind of mentioning to earlier, and I agree with it, I don't want to see Kyle Shanahan get to the point where he's like, okay, this dude's so good, I'm only going to ride him. Yeah. Elijah Mitchell's just coming back off of an injury. Oh, we'll kind of phase him out because he's not playing so well right now. No, these are the times where you want to get some balance because both guys, I don't want to say they're injury prone because I don't think they're injury prone, but they have proven that they can get banged up. And you should kind of expect that from your running backs if you're consistently only